Hi everyone, my name is Megan. Welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. So lately I've been scrolling through TikTok and I've been seeing a lot of really cute, really fun, fast fashion hauls. These videos often feature a girl with a giant package of clothes that she got from SHEIN or Zara or H&M or Forever 21, and she's unboxing all of these beautiful clothes. Oftentimes there's bikinis, tops, and she's trying them on. They all look amazing on her, and she's getting them for really cheap. And whenever I see those videos, I think to myself, oh wow, like that's some really good stuff. I should go do the same. And that is where we come to a bit of an issue. In this video, I'll be talking about why I shop secondhand, or at least try to, and why I think you should shop secondhand too. Before we get started, I want to give a little disclaimer, and I have my notes up on my screen, so I will be reading them out. This is my own personal experience with shopping secondhand, and I would like to clarify that it is a privilege to be able to shop secondhand. Many people do not have the time or money to spend hours looking through clothes at a thrift store, or do not have thrift stores or secondhand clothes available or accessible to them. However, I believe that if you do have the time and the money and the location, shopping secondhand is a really good practice to take on. So, the first big reason why I decided to begin to shop secondhand is the price. Oh my gosh. Secondhand clothes and thrifted clothes in general tend to be a lot cheaper than what you would get them in store. For example, I got a pair of BDG jeans from Goodwill a few years ago. If you don't know what BDG is, they are an Urban Outfitters jean company. And they were 24 bucks, whereas if I were buying them new, they would have been $80 or $90. And this is honestly a theme that I see every single time I go shopping. I'm finding tops max 10 bucks for a top, as low as $1 for a piece. So in that regard, I think that shopping secondhand is really good because it is so accessible in terms of price. And if you know where to go and you know how to shop secondhand, there are a lot of really good deals that you can get compared to what you would be buying them if you're buying them new. The second reason to shop secondhand is trendiness and style. Thrifting has become really popular lately because it is so cheap, as well as other things, and it is a great way to find really unique pieces that like no one else has. And so if you want to stand out in that regard or just be trendy and go thrifting with your friends, I think it's a really fun thing to do. And now I'm getting into more of the nitty-gritty reasons why I shop secondhand. I'm just gonna be frank, there is a lot of issues with the fashion industry, a lot of issues. And if you know your stuff, you're probably agreeing with me on this one. For example, according to an Insta post by chnge, 85% of garment workers are women ages 18 to 24, but the majority of them earn less than $3 a day. $3 a day. That is not a living wage. There are many, many instances of this where repeatedly, time and time again, companies do not pay their workers well enough. Ooh, my hand looks purple. Companies do not pay their workers well enough. They do not provide health insurance or any other benefits to their workers. They force them to work long, grueling hours. They support child labor by putting children in these positions and forcing them to make their clothes. And they do not help their workers when they stand up about sexual assault that they have faced in the workplace. If you want to read more about this, I will link all of my resources down below, especially that chnge post, which goes into a lot more detail on this topic. I'm trying to make this brief, which is why I'm not giving very many statistics, but time and time again, so many companies are not being ethical. And if you claim to stand up, if you claim to be a feminist, if you claim to support a living wage, if you claim that you want all children in schools and you don't want any of them to be forced to be working in grueling conditions, if you claim to be any of these things or support any of these causes, I think it's important to at least consider the companies that you are buying clothes from and how they may be unethical and how they may be contributing to the very problems that you would like to stand up for. So I don't know, that's my hot take. Another reason why I shop secondhand is sustainability, and this is another thing that ties into the unethical realm that many companies fall into. The whole idea of fast fashion is to produce as many clothes as possible for as cheaply as possible, and this endless production from companies encourages many people to just keep buying and buying clothes with no real interest in longevity of the clothes or how much they actually like them. And this is problematic to me in a variety of ways. It encourages you to just keep buying and buying and buying without considering the actual quality of the clothes or how much you actually like the clothes. And most of the time, fast fashion companies are really good at getting you to buy clothes. So by the next season, most of those pieces that you bought will be out of style because fast fashion companies will have invented new things that are trendier and more in style than the current pieces you have, which is further convincing you that you need to buy fast fashion and stay up to date or stay fashionable or whatever. This endless cycle to me is really problematic because first of all, you're not getting your money's worth. You're not investing in clothes which you'll actually be wearing for a long time. And second of all, it creates so many clothes. Oh my gosh. And a lot of those clothes just end up in landfills in about a year. According to this post by the HuffPost, and again, I'll have all my sources linked below, 12.8 million tons of clothing are sent to landfills in the US every year. 12.8 million tons, and that's only in the United States. And if you're thinking, oh, well, I can just buy fast fashion and I will donate all of my clothes. I like that idea. That is a better idea. However, only 10% of donated clothes actually get resold in the United States. 10%. That is not a good number. 10%. So even if you are donating your clothes, the majority of those will still end up in the landfill or will be shipped overseas to end up in other countries' landfills. So I don't know, there's just lots of hidden problems, in my opinion, with the fast fashion industry. Another part of sustainability in fast fashion that I think about often is fast fashion's CO2 emissions. According to the HuffPost, quote, the fashion industry's CO2 emissions are projected to increase by more than 60% to nearly 2.8 billion tons per year by 2030, end quote. So it's 2021. That's 9 years away. 2.8 billion tons of CO2. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. According to earth.org, quote, fashion production comprises 10% of total global carbon emissions, which is as much as the European Union. As much as the European Union. Isn't that insane? Quote, it dries up water sources and pollutes rivers and streams, while 85% of all textiles go to dumps each year. I think that there are so many problems with the fashion industry. And with this cycle of endless production and endless consumption, clothes just keep being produced and keep ending up in landfills, which I find to be quite problematic. Again, this is where my blaming side comes in. If you claim to be an environmentalist or someone who supports animal rights or the overall health of the planet, buying fast fashion, frankly, is going against your own values. Because you are supporting companies that are not following your values, that are increasing the temperatures on this planet, putting many more animals at risk, and just making this planet even more unlivable. Now, I'm not saying that that's your fault. I don't want this video to come off as, oh my gosh, this is totally everyone's fault. This is your fault. You're such a horrible human being. But I do want to say that if you have the privilege to be able to buy from, or to be able to purchase your clothes from any company you want within limit, then it is important to understand where your clothes are coming from and how the companies that you are supporting may not hold the same values as you. I think that's just an important thing to consider. And if you are willing to continue to purchase clothes from those companies, then you should be ready to sacrifice those values that you hold. That's my hot take, honestly. However, before you click away, I do want to clarify something that I myself have been struggling with. And that is the idea of individual impact versus corporate impact. If you are interested in the ethical side of shopping secondhand, I do believe that it is important to balance shopping secondhand with holding big corporations accountable. For example, with sustainability, there is no way that we can become an environmentally friendly planet just through individual action. We need to be holding big corporations accountable, and that is where your own voice comes in. If you choose not to support fast fashion companies like H&M, Pretty Little Thing, Zara, SHEIN, you are telling those companies that you will not let their actions slide. However, I do also believe that we need government action to hold these corporations accountable, and we need laws put in place that prevent this endless cycle of fast fashion from occurring, where everyone is hurt except for the big corporations. So I would just like to clarify that it is important when you are starting on your own secondhand shopping journey to remember to consider individual impact and versus corporate impact. I myself am not perfect. As you can tell, I'm wearing an Urban Outfitters sweater, and I myself still struggle with trying to hold myself and companies accountable and not giving into the urge of buying things new. I try my very best, and it can be challenging. I know for a fact, and I'm sure you know this as well. It can be very challenging to do all of these things. It's so exhausting to have to constantly be thinking about where your clothes are coming from, whether purchasing from this company or that company will be unethical, whether it will be going against your own values. But I think that it's a journey that we can all at least start to go on. And I will admit, this entire video, I was really calling out myself and trying to get in touch with my own feelings. And I still struggle with this. I think it's just really important that we keep this in mind as you're going forward. And I also think that even though I was coming off very harshly, it is important to not take your own self too harshly, and remember that you have limits, and it is important to respect those limits when it comes to shopping secondhand. So I think that is an important little disclaimer. Now I want to jump into a little bit of controversy about secondhand shopping. There has lately been a lot of voice around shopping secondhand, and how if you are shopping secondhand, you are taking away the clothing from people who need it. And I 100% agree. I think that it's important to find a balance between what you're going to buy new and what you're going to buy secondhand. Take, for example, shoes and jackets. These are things that are really needed by people who do not have the resources to buy clothing new. And so if you go out and buy these things secondhand, I do agree that that is putting others who may need it more down a little bit because they cannot access those materials. At the same time, there is so much clothing in secondhand shops such as Goodwill, blah blah blah, all these places, and there is no way that by shopping secondhand you will be taking away tons and tons of clothes from others. As I said earlier, in the United States, only 10% of donated clothes get resold, so that is a very small number in comparison to the number of clothes that are donated each year. So while I agree with this argument of you shouldn't shop secondhand because other people need it more. I also disagree with that argument just because of the sheer number of clothes that are ending up in secondhand stores. In secondhand stores. Alright guys, well that was a lot of talking. This is a really heavy topic, and I know I came off a little bit harsh, but I do believe that it's important to hold yourself accountable. However, I also believe that you know, it's important to consider your own health when you are doing these things. If it is just completely impossible for you to buy secondhand, whether it's time, money, location, that is understandable. Again, when it comes to the ethical side of shopping secondhand, it is really important to remember individual impact versus corporate impact, and how you buying all of your clothes secondhand is not going to make much of a difference if we don't hold corporations and governments accountable too. So yeah, I hope that made sense, and let me know what you guys thought of this video. Feel free to put your arguments down below, fight with me a little bit. I would love to see what you have to say about this issue. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!